Pop-Tarts were never supposed to exist. They were made in a desperate attempt to destroy a rival's secret weapon. Here's how a massive gamble became a billion-dollar empire and took over America, one sugary and sometimes flammable bite at a time. This is the untold history of the Pop-Tart. Our story begins in 1898, before the Kellogg Company's creation, with a man who would have absolutely hated Pop-Tarts. John Harvey Kellogg. He was one of the many people who were obsessed with how food correlates to health and ran the Battle Creek Sanitarium, where he promoted healthy eating. A sanitarium is a medical facility designated for long-term care. In the past, sanitariums were often associated with rest, nutrition, and fresh air as part of treatment, but some were also run by religious or health-focused groups promoting specific lifestyles, like the Kellogg Brothers Battle Creek Sanitarium. John Kellogg, true to his principles, created the first version of cornflakes here, which were initially a plain, sugar-free meal. One of the patients at the sanitarium was C.W. Post, who, after eating the cornflakes, was inspired and went on to make grape nuts. He founded Post Consumer Brands, the company that would ultimately prove to be Kellogg's biggest competitor. But back to Kellogg's. It was John's brother, Will Keith Kellogg, who made cornflakes into what they are today. John prohibited his brother Will from distributing the cereal beyond his own customers. This started a family feud that would lead to the brothers parting ways. Will would go on to found the Battle Creek Toasted Cornflake Company and later convinced his brother to give up the rights to the product. The company was changed to Kellogg Toasted Cornflake Company in 1909 and eventually to the Kellogg Company in 1922 after Will won a legal battle against his brother for the rights to the name. Some 6 decades later, Pop-Tart's story begins. 1960s America love affair with cereal was still going strong, but now with 2 working parents in a household, people needed something easier and quicker for breakfast. C.W. Post, who founded Post Consumer Goods, came up with a revolutionary idea: the invention of a fruit-filled, shelf-stable pastry that didn't need to be refrigerated, called Country Squares. While it had great potential, there was only one problem. They announced it before they were ready to launch, and Kellogg's was listening. In less than 6 months, Kellogg's, along with Bill Post, who's not related to the Post Company in any way, set out to create their own version of the idea. But, curiously enough, on their official website, there's no mention of Bill, instead alleging that Kellogg's chairman, William E. Lamothe, had the vision of transforming a delicious breakfast into a toaster-ready rectangle that could go anywhere. Initially, these pastries were called fruit scones, but the company quickly realized that wasn't very marketable. Inspired by the rising pop art movement from Andy Warhol's creations and Marilyn Monroe paintings, they rebranded to Pop-Tarts. I think it's a pretty common and reasonable myth that they got their name because they pop out of the toaster. What a stupid idea. Of course, it's a pun on the pop art movement. Silly me. And it'd be silly of you not to subscribe. Super thanks are the best way to support the channel, and with your support, I can make more high-quality videos just like this. Let's see if we can hit 5K subs by the end of February. Thank you for all of the love on this channel so far. And now back to the video. Launching while Post was still figuring out logistics, Kellogg stole the spotlight. Post's Country Scones flopped almost immediately, fading into obscurity like Neopets or Jinko Jeans. This is your reminder to check up on your Neopets, you monster. The first flavors to enter the market were strawberry, blueberry, brown sugar, cinnamon, and apple currant, which was later renamed to apple berry. Initially, the Pop-Tarts were plain pastries because Kellogg's wasn't sure if frosting would survive getting toasted. But a breakthrough happened in 1967 when the technology needed was invented, and suddenly, breakfast got even better. Dutch apple, Concord grape, raspberry, and brown sugar cinnamon were the first flavors to don the icing. The following year, sprinkles were added, and by 1973, the lineup had expanded to 19 varieties, ensuring that every kid in America could pick their personal favorite. Mine's cherry. Kellogg's keeps between 20 to 30 flavors in production at any given time, constantly coming up with new flavors. Seasonal flavors such as pumpkin pie has been released every fall since 2011, and red, white, and blueberry every summer since 2012. Limited flavors were also released between 2005 and 2001, sometimes in collaboration with other brands such as Dunkin' Donuts, Jolly Rancher, and Eggos. These flavors sometimes get produced for longer, such as Red Velvet, which became a standard flavor after being tried as a limited one in 2013. However, Kellogg's doesn't just rely on taste. They mastered marketing to make Pop-Tarts the behemoth they are today. When the first boxes of Pop-Tarts sold out in the 60s, they quickly rolled out apology ads, promising more to come in newspapers. Beginning on November 3, 1964, Kellogg's Pop-Tarts had full-page local newspaper ads, and each ad included an 8-cent coupon, driving up demand even more. They flooded the air with commercials, appearing on shows like Beverly Hillbillies, My Favorite Martian, and What's My Line. By the end of the 1960s, the Pop-Tart had become a part of American culture. In 1971, Milton the Toaster, their talking mascot, made his debut and would appear on packages for the next decade. In the 1980s, they had expanded to a 6-pack, a 12-pack, and even a 24-pack box. In 1994, they launched a Pop-Tart cereal called Pop-Tarts Crunch, adding a second convenient way to eat them. This also gave way to Pop-Tart Bites in 2018, a miniature, crunchy version of their normal counterparts. By 2004, Kellogg's finally settled on the tagline that would forever define Pop-Tarts: crazy good. With this, their commercials took a bizarre turn. Cartoon Pop-Tarts had feelings, dreams, and aspirations, all of which ended in them being eaten. One second, a Pop-Tart is celebrating a personal victory, and the next, chomp. Then, in 2007, Pop-Tarts started to collab with other brands. They used bold prints of sports team logos, pop culture icons, and copyrighted characters directly on the Pop-Tarts frosting, proving that nothing is safe from corporate synergy. Not even breakfast. In 2010, they took things even further by opening a temporary store called Pop-Tarts World on Times Square, with souvenirs, t-shirt making, a cafe with a sushi bar, and even a vending machine called the Varietizer where you could mix and match flavors like some sort of pastry scientist. By 2023, the culture had shifted and their advertising needed to follow, and it doubled down on the idea that Pop-Tarts were desperate to be eaten. These tarts were no longer simply existing, they were now actively throwing themselves at humans, climbing into lunchboxes, and begging for their own sweet, sugary demise. But all this fun wasn't without a little chaos. Though no one thinks Pop-Tarts are the pinnacle of health, there have been serious concerns regarding the snack. Studies show that eating a Pop-Tart can raise your blood sugar to astronomical levels, and considering how buying Pop-Tarts in bulk is the norm, over time this can lead to obesity and diabetes, especially in young children. In 2017's The Kellogg's, The Battling Brothers of Battle Creek, Howard Markle, an American physician and medical historian, jokes that he objects to eating Pop-Tarts on every level, saying, "As a pediatrician, I still have to say, even in 1964, what were they thinking?" But so far, Kellogg hasn't made any significant changes to their recipe. But that's not the only kind of pressure Kellogg's has faced regarding the Pop-Tart. These delicious treats have also seen some lawsuits, specifically toaster fire lawsuits. In 1992, Thomas Nangle sued Kellogg's after his Pop-Tart got stuck in his toaster and caught fire. The case gained notoriety after Dave Barry, a humorist, wrote a column about a similar incident. A Texas A&M professor performed a 1994 experiment showing that when left in the toaster for too long, strawberry Pop-Tarts could produce a 1.5-foot high flame. This prompted Kellogg's to add the line, "Due to possible risk of fire, never leave your toaster, appliance, or microwave unattended." Basically saying, if you set your home ablaze with a Pop-Tart, that's your fault. They've also seen lawsuits recently, such as one in October of 2021, when a woman in New York sued Kellogg's for $5 million over what she felt was misleading packaging. Her suit stated that the strawberry representations are misleading as the product contains fewer strawberries than consumers would expect based on the labeling. This was dismissed in March of 2022, with U.S. District Judge Marvin Aspen writing, "The word strawberry combined with a picture of half of a strawberry and a Pop-Tart oozing red filling does not guarantee that there will be a certain amount of strawberries in the product's filling." In some extreme cases, Pop-Tarts had to be recalled when mislabeling could have led to severe allergic reactions, like on August 4th of 1995, when it was announced that 94,500 cartons of Smucker's Real Fruit Frosted Strawberry were actually chocolate fudge. In 2002, Kellogg's announced that egg was an undeclared ingredient in its frosted brown sugar cinnamon flavor, and in 2006, the public was informed that milk was an undeclared ingredient in some of the frosted blueberry Pop-Tarts. Moreover, some Pop-Tarts contain Red 40, Yellow 5, and Yellow 6, food dyes that are banned in the EU. This means that while Americans can freely enjoy their chemically enhanced pastries, Europeans are forced to pick from a limited number of flavors and, well, real food. My friend in the UK didn't even know what they were. That's truly a tragedy. But all in all, through the flaming fires and crazy good times, Pop-Tarts are still doing better than ever. Sales of Pop-Tarts have been increasing for 32 years, topping out at 985 million in 2023. From a rushed response to a competitor's idea to becoming a global phenomenon, Pop-Tarts have stood the test of time. Their knack for reinvention, nostalgia, and unapologetic indulgence has cemented their place in the hearts of millions, spanning generations past, present, and undoubtedly future. If you'd like to learn about the history of Cheetos, check out this video here. Until next time, I'll be watching my Pop-Tart in the toaster closely. I suggest you do the same. And of course, get yourself a yummy treat.